prostitute who like goes around and murders people.
And she's the same prostitute that the pimp and the radio was saying, "Get out of my building! You don't work here." That kind of stuff.
Oh, the connections
it's all connected.
are so deep.
It's so clever. 3D chess this movie's playing with us, let me tell you.
So she gets called to a house, and when she gets to the, like, a guy calls her up and says, hey, you want to come and have a date with me? And we think he's some kind of nerdy guy. But then when the prostitute walks into the house and talks to the two boys in the street that are from the Professor's Wife episode, which comes after this, she goes in and there's like dead bodies hanging in the kitchen. So it's
she doesn't see them.
But she doesn't see them. So it's like,
although I did like how there were no pictures of the guy, and she's like, "Why aren't there pictures of you?" Like I don't know. I liked that beat at least.
Yeah, because it like puts some, I don't know. Sure.
But she's a prostitute serial killer.
She's a prostitute serial killer.
She has a glove compartment full of knives.
Yeah.
Does that.
Yeah. So then she like starts to torture this guy and kills him. And then we find out that, no, he's not just a serial killer. He's some kind of vampire.
He's a monster of some kind. Marcelo, what kind of monster did you think this guy was?
I mean, he's not a vampire because he came out the next day in bright daylight. So I hate that it makes no effort to explain what he is. He's just a monster. That's it.
For no reason.
No reason.
Yeah.
And then the monster kills her, and that's it. That's the end.
I've got a theory. I've got a theory. Are you ready for this?
We're ready.
Based on his mouth and how many teeth he had, I think he's the love child of the ape-like thing from the crate and Billy.
I'm here for it. I can see it.
Yeah.
That's what they were doing in that crate. That's why I was moving around so much.
There you go.
I did think about it. The mouth was similar to the ape monster in Creepshow. So
grasping at straws, we are.
Yeah. Then he goes out and he has like goes out for a golf game at the end, waving at neighbors. It's like, what is this?
I don't know.
As you find out, there's a whole group of monsters like him. As you find out in the last story, they all hang out in this club, right?
Is that the thing? Did I miss that?
Yeah, because
it's in Haunted Dog.
It's in Haunted Dog. The doctor's
okay.
like, "Yeah, I got some pills," and like, "Yeah, the real party starts." And they all are kind of like him. And he's like, "I need new faces." And is that because he has to change faces because he's a serial killer? It's not very well thought out. But yeah, Call Girl. There it is.
Everybody in Creepyville is just some sort of like twisted psychopath killer.
It's a
monster.
Creepyville.
Yeah, it's a Creepyville.
This should have been called Crappyville.
Should be called Crap Show. That's what the name of this one.
Crap Show 3.
Crap Show 3. Okay, so Haunted Dog.
Well, the Professor's Wife we talked about.
Yeah, we talked about the Professor's Wife. That was next.
And then Haunted Dog is after this, yes.
This doctor is like a really bad doctor.
No, it's a reveal, guy. You're selling it shortbread, and it's a slow burn.
Sorry.
Because there's a jerk on the street, and he's being a jerk to people, and he gets a hot dog, and he drops his hot dog. There's a homeless guy that'd been wanting some food or money from him earlier, so he's like, "Oh, this is perfect. I'm going to give this homeless guy his hot dog, act like I'm a good guy." Then he cuts in front of everyone else, gets another hot dog for himself, so walks off. But the hot dog he dropped was obviously dropped into something gross because the homeless
covered
guy,
in sand or something.
Yeah, the homeless guy dies immediately from eating it, and they're like, "Oh no, someone's choking! We need a doctor!" And our quote-unquote main character, or hero character, right?
Who is the doctor, yeah.
It's a reveal, though, because he's just being a jerk, and he walks in, and where does he work? He's a doctor. It's brilliant,
I think he said previous to that he was a doctor. Like, he had a
did
line
he?
that... Yeah, he did.
Oh, man. See, I give the movie too much credit. I thought...
Yeah. But, see, here's the thing. Okay, so then after that, so then we learn how bad a doctor he is because he's, like, sexually assaulting his patients and, like... You know, he has no bedside manner, and
also,
though,
you can tell the budget of this movie is horrible because they even have budget to like get in patients
extras.
Because there's a shot of him. It's just jump cuts, like, oh, here you go, yeah. You're out of here, you're gonna die soon, da da da, and like it's like, come on, guys, gonna have a 2-shot of him talking to another person? Terrible.
Yeah. So then, and then he starts getting haunted by this dead guy with the hot dog, and he's like showing him the hot dog.
It's a really bad special effect, by the way.
Yeah, very, very bad. And I don't even know what happens at
Well,
the end.
now there was a beat. No, there was a beat in here. I thought, oh, are they going to actually have this guy turn his life around because he's haunted by this guy? Because it's when, I don't know if you guys thought this might happen or not, but it's when the guy comes in with his daughter, and it's like, you have a brain tumor, and he like gets serious for a second. He looks out there, and the ghost is there. I'm like, oh, he's gonna see that he needs to stop being a jerk and help people, right? But then then he just goes back to beat himself like, oh, did she have a senior prom? She's a junior. Well, I'll take her to one this weekend because she's going to die. Yeah. And did you guys pick up on that? Did you think there might be a turn to the character there? Or was I just looking for something that was never going to happen?
No way. There's no way he was going to.
But there was a beat. There was a beat there.
There was a beat. But this is...
Here,
in their lame attempt at making a Creepshow movie... There is no way there's going to be a sincere moment in this. There's no room for
very
it.
True.
Yeah.
See, I know how they could have made this better then, is if he would have turned his life around there, then they could, like, he would have been a better doctor, and we could have finished this movie on a happy note, and then they could have called this segment, It's a Wonderful Hot Dog.
Perfect.
There you go.
One thing they should have honestly done
Zuzu's pedals!
They should have cut it down from 30 minutes to, like, 10 minutes, because, geez, I don't know why this movie... First is like as long as it is. Creepshow 2 was it had 3 segments, but still streamlined like 90 minutes, perfect. This is an hour and 40 minutes of pain.
Drags.
That 10 minutes is way too much.
But you can't cut one segment, Marcel. They're all interconnected. It's a tapestry. If you pull on one thread, the whole thing falls apart.
It's us pulling on something is not the reason this movie's falling apart.
But yeah, I guess that's our flyover of the movie. What?
Okay, well, let me ask you this question here. Okay, so let's go back for a second. Okay, I'm just going to try and look at something to talk about for the segment. I don't think this guy's responsible for that bum dying, because all he did was like he's a dick for giving him the dirty hot dog, right? But it's like. I don't know, the guy, if I was a bum and somebody gave me a dirty hot dog, I don't know if I'd eat it, but I mean, I'm not a homeless individual, so I guess I don't know. But even still, like, the guy just choked on a hot dog, which happens to people, and then this guy's haunting him and showing him a hot dog. I don't know. So,
yeah, it's a terrible concept initially. Yeah. I mean, I just rewatched it in the background, and like, yeah, this doctor drops it, picks it up, there's dirt on it, just dirt, nothing else beyond that. Not like a rock or anything, you know. And then this guy, the homeless guy, just, you know, swallows it whole almost, and then chokes. I think we're to assume that because the doctor dropped it, that this guy died, or it doesn't make it clear. Maybe the homeless person just couldn't chew properly. I don't know. It's the movie's fault. But I guess we're led to believe that yes, because the doctor is just a terrible person beyond that he deserves what he gets. But no, the initial concept of him giving a homeless guy a dirty hot dog and the homeless guy dying because of that, not well executed.
Yeah.
Right. Well,
the mystery of the hot dog.
I think, you know, zooming out, looking at all these stories, all jokes aside about them being interconnected, you delete Alice, you delete the professor's wife for sure. Right, both of those gone. And that leaves you with the radio, call girl, and haunted dog. Again, if
it's still trash.
It's still terrible. No, it's still terrible. I'm saying if you take those 3 and you make better versions of those 3, then I think you could have a decent horror anthology movie.
Probably.
I would agree with that. I mean, if those 3 stories, I think with better hands, yeah, it would work. It's just the interconnecting story of that professor. And these like bumbling idiots in the outskirts.
Yeah, and delete the epilogue and prologue too, because this animated skeleton in a hoodie kills some dog and turns into hot dogs.
Or just have the professor be the creep in some way. Like have him be like the underlying person who kind of just motivates these stories in a better way, not just like a evil, you know, jokey professor. I don't know.
Yeah, that's a whole other thing in the professor's wife. Like, oh, you know those pranks he plays, like. Exploding sandwiches and remote control cars he kills people with. And it's like, oh, hi, at it again. I'm like, you guys know he's murdering people. Like,
see, that's the thing. In a way, he is kind of like, you know, the creep, the professor. But it's not taken seriously. It's not taken. No. It's not like giving any more thought than like, oh, let's just make this wacky guy who is connected to every story just a wacky professor who kills people.
Yeah. Well, but what it comes back down to is what you guys have already said. It's a fundamental misunderstanding of what made this franchise what it was. And it's a shame this is connected to the other two. Because it's a serious, serious dark stain on the name.
Yes. Now, let's just...
I mean, again, just call it like Creepyville. Call it anything else.
Call it Creepyville. Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
would have been perfect.
Now, aside from quality, okay, I do want to bring this up and ask you for the comparison. Because we've got this... and we've got Halloween 3. So not comparing quality of films, because I think all of us here appreciate Halloween 3 on some level.
Yeah.
I mean, like, Halloween 3, it's not necessarily like that one is a misunderstanding of what the Halloween franchise is. It's like, they're like, we wanted to make it an anthology series of movies, but they put it in the wrong spot because they'd already continued the story of the success of Michael Myers with Halloween 2, and so that's why Halloween 3 feels like such a misstep. But Halloween 3 is at least a decent film. So I don't know where I want to go with that, but I did want to bring up because this is a third movie where it's just not what the other two were.
In all honesty, I'd give this movie how do I even put this into words? If this had like a producer credit from Stephen King or Romero, in some fashion, I'd give it some more thought, right? But I can't imagine them putting their name on this.
Because Carpenter was associated with Halloween 3, was he?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. He was a producer. I think he did the music too.
Correct.
For Halloween 3. So yeah, I mean, it's that stamp of approval, And I know Romero. At this point in his career, what was it, 2000, mid-2000s?
2006, yeah.
2006. I mean, well, he did Land of the Dead, which is actually really good. So, like, he still has it in him, and I can't imagine him putting his name on something this bad in the mid-2000s. And if he was involved, he'd make it at least worth watching. Yeah. So, that's how I see it. Like, if there is no way in hell he'd put his name on something this bad. And it's kind of like Halloween 3, where Carpenter, he had money coming in too, so that's the reason why he just stuck around for the Halloween stuff and did the music. Yeah, but in a way, he wouldn't put his name on something that terrible. So anyway, that's my point, I guess. Yeah, going back to that point we made before, with there being no connective tissue to the first two, or even like the outskirt projects, Tales from the Dark Side. We got this, and it's not Creepshow to me.
Nope.
We want to do death count next?
I do. How many deaths do you guys think happen in this movie?
I don't know. I couldn't tell you how many segments are in this movie.
I'm going to guess 10.
I'll guess 15.
Okay, you guys have it surrounded. It's 12.
Okay.
Nice.
We have the dog who dies at the opening. We have Jerry who dies. We have the prostitute who dies. We have the proselytizer, who the killer prostitute, Rachel, kills. We have the family of 3, so that brings us to 6, who Victor kills. We have Victor, who is killed by Rachel. That's 7. We have Rachel, who is killed by Victor. That's 8. We have the professor's wife. That's 9. We have the homeless hot dog guy. That's 10. And then we have the... doctor, that's 11. Oh, those numbers are for people. So 11 people, and then plus 1 for the dog, which means 12. So there you have it. So that's a total of 12 deaths in Creepshow 3, which brings us to a franchise total of 42 deaths. That's a lot of death for 3 movies.
So. Yeah, that's a lot of death. Marcelo, let's start with your rating. What would you give this movie out of 5 creeps?
1 out of 5.
1 out of 5.
I mean, can I? I'm not going to rate it 0 if that's even possible.
Well,
because
I'm going to give it half a creep. So you can do that.
Okay,
if you
yeah. I'll give it some. Okay, because my bottom is like somewhere around like Birdemic. Even though,
which is very similar to this. Very similar.
Yeah. But I will say, Birdemic to me is like a 0.5, only because it's made terribly. The sound is terrible. The picture quality is terrible. At least this has some production value. I will admit, as dumb as some of the horror effects, the reason behind them are, at least some of them are practical.